aerial footage. It's been there for 15 years, unmonitored. No reclamation plan involved with that. Considerably deeper pit right next to this location. So the property value concerns, this operation in comparison to maybe the three examples I brought up here is a relatively short duration. He had mentioned 4 to 6 years. Unlike those longer term sites that I pointed out. The noise concerns that were brought up. Since last meeting, the applicant has made changes to his operation to help limit the noise pollution by starting the operation from the north to the south versus the south to the north. The water runoff concerns that were brought up are all regulated through the DNR, through their permitting, and as we heard tonight, and I heard today in a meeting I attended, I also attended the meeting with the DNR. None of the water on site can leave that site, so that's all regulated through the DNR as well. Traffic concerns that we've heard, it was brought up about the data center and the traffic on Highway A. I agree, there is more traffic, but that can't be considered as detrimental to someone in our community. We can't take that into consideration, I guess is what I'm saying.
You can.
So these trucks,
We're gonna put one family over the rest of us.
I ain't voting for you guys again. You guys
Put
suck.
one family over the
so as for the traffic concerns that were brought up last month with the access to the site on Trading Post Trail, the applicant has changed operations to access off Highway A and has received the permitting access from the county for that. And the county does regulate that, so I know there was mention about moving that one way or the other. I'm very familiar with that county permitting, and it's something that would have to go through them, but they're very strict on sight lines, and especially with heavy equipment access. But they did grant him that permit for that. So again, I mentioned it earlier before we started the presentation that there's been a lot of misinformation out there. I hope, and our intentions tonight, and surprisingly, I'm being crucified for letting the applicant answer your questions, which I thought would be a benefit. I hope that what he presented tonight made a lot more sense and made a lot of clarity on some things that maybe weren't clear before.
The noise.
I don't need to cover those because I think he covered them pretty well in his presentation. Another item for us to consider is the existing mine on Boltonsville Road. This is something I'm not sure if Bill, are you on board yet or not? So when the word mining operation came to the town first time now, just over 3 years ago, we were pretty nervous about it. We didn't know what to think was gonna happen. And to be honest, we got through that hurdle, and a month after that operation started, we didn't really hear a word about it.
How many houses were there?
So,
He's not gonna answer.
one of the questions I asked, when I was contacted by individuals that started the conversation saying they were opposed to it, was why? And then I followed up with questions as to if they had concerns of the existing mine that was operating the last 3+ years. I will say that I think all but one knew that it even existed, or didn't know it existed. And particularly, that mine is particularly closer to the Star Valley subdivision than this one.
Just drove past, there's no
And I will say that, Harrison and, his company have had great communication with the town in the past. He did cover it in his presentation, that when, the county highway was closed, he wasn't kidding you. He called me and asked me, hey, which way do you want us to go? We want your permission, which direction to go. So their communication was very proactive, and we haven't had any issues over the last 3+ years.
So you're putting one family farm over the rest of us.
So what I'm trying to say is that they've got a good track record with us.
This has all been on your bill way before. Why did you even have the meetings?
What about the 70 decibel noise
So
level?
I'm gonna turn the,
What you're saying.
so I'm gonna turn the mic over to anybody, the other board members that would like to comment as well.
Yeah, I missed the last meeting, but I did read all the minutes and I did do some legwork. I went out and talked to some people and looked at all the sites and stuff, what he was talking about in the old one. And yeah, I mean, I've learned more about sand mining in the last month than I ever wanted to know about sand mining and air quality and everything else. I mean, it's like we were listening and, we were talking tonight. I mean, and everybody's talking, but I mean, everybody's interrupting and
No.
everything else, and, it's hard, seeing disrespect like this and stuff. When other people are talking. So, yeah, all I can say is, yeah, we've done our homework.
Your mind made up?
So you're basically gonna approve the thing that we came here and said we don't want it.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'm attorney Mike Bauer. I'm the town of Farmington town attorney. And based on all of the information that's been submitted to the town, the chairperson and the zoning administrator have asked for assistance in writing a decision. And that's where I come in. And the important legal principle, Attorney Stadler talked about it, but the important legal principle since 2017 is the state law has changed. But at this point, it's clear that the town board has authority to hear and decide applications for conditional use permits. That's town code and state statute 6061 4E. If an applicant for a conditional use permit meets or agrees to meet all of the requirements and conditions specified in the county ordinances or those imposed by the town ordinances, the town shall grant the conditional use permit. And that's state law 60.61 4E B1. And that's an important 2017 law change. The Town of Farmington Zoning Code 13-166A sets out the following standards to grant a conditional use permit. And so the proposed written decision restates all 8 of the standards contained in the zoning ordinance. The town board may impose additional requirements and conditions as a result of the public hearings and the evidence presented. The purpose of the Town of Farmington zoning ordinance is to promote the health, safety, prosperity, aesthetics, general welfare of the town of Farmington.
Exactly.
The applicant must provide substantial evidence that the applicant and all requirements and conditions are or shall be satisfied. The town's decision to approve or deny the conditional use permit must be supported by substantial evidence. Substantial evidence means facts and information other than those merely personal preferences or speculation, directly pertaining to the requirements and conditions an applicant must meet to obtain a conditional use permit, and that a reasonable person would accept in support of a conclusion. the burden of proof is on the applicant. So that's the law. That's what the town board needs to follow, and that is stated in a document that I have proposed to the board entitled Findings of Fact, Conclusions of Law, and Decision. If the chair permits, I would review the reasoning and the conclusions of law in the proposed decision.
How do you have a proposed decision drafted when they haven't even met before?
The applicant has presented substantial evidence that all of the requirements and conditions specified by the town code for a conditional use permit are or shall be satisfied. The establishment, maintenance, or operation of the proposed mine will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. The uses, values, and enjoyment of other property in the neighborhood for the purposes already permitted shall be in no foreseeable manner substantially impaired or diminished by the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the proposed mine, and the proposed mine is comparable with the use of adjacent lands. The establishment of the proposed mine will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary site improvements have been or are being provided. Adequate measures have been all or will be taken to provide ingress and egress designed as to minimize traffic congestion in public streets. The proposed mine does not conform to all applicable. The proposed mine does conform to all applicable regulations of the district in which it is located. The proposed mine does not violate floodplain regulations governed by the county. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent and control water pollution, including sedimentation, erosion, and runoff, approved by the appropriate jurisdictional authority. The proposed decision reads as follows. Based on the foregoing, it is the determination of the Town of Farmington Town Board that the conditional use permit is approved subject to the following conditions. 1, the mining site and operations must comply with all federal, state, county, and local regulations and standards. Number 2, the applicant must obtain all necessary approvals from Washington County for its reclamation plan and all necessary permits from the DNR to operate the proposed mine. Number 3, the mining activities must adhere to dust control measures as required by Washington County and DNR. Number 4, the hours of operation of the proposed mine will be from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, with no activity on nationally recognized holidays.
And weekends?
Site access is limited to County Highway A. The applicant, operator, and third-party haulers shall only use county highways as truck routes to haul material, unless delivering to a property located on a town road. It is the responsibility of HH&J to ensure that the haul routes are adhered to and properly communicated to third-party haulers. Number 7, no crushing or blasting shall be allowed on site. Number 8, duration of the permit shall be for 3 years from the town board approval, with a right to request an extension of the permit for an additional 2 years. The town board must approve the extension prior to the expiration of the initial 3-year term. The initial term shall be February 10, 2026 to February 10, 2029. So that is the proposed findings of fact, conclusion of law, and decision presented to the town board at this point.
Thank you, Mike. So I'll open up to, the board for discussion, further discussion.
Can you please read the hours of operation again?
7 AM to 5 PM.
What days?
Monday through Friday. And that is one of the things we talked about that we would like to change on there and, for that back. I would suggest that we make that from 7 to 4. And, I don't know, Mike, what is your opinion on that, with hours?
Yes, 7 to 4 would, I would think, would be, I would think it'd be all right.
Okay, the other thing with the conditional use permit is, I had talked to Doug somewhat on this about if it gets started and in a year we see, hey, there are some problems here that he's gonna have to, Harrison would be back in front here and we would have to address that at that time. So it's not carte blanche that you're going through 5 or 6 years here. There are some restrictions, yeah.
Okay, so are you making a motion to,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move the hours from 6 to 5 to be 7.
7 to 5 to 7 to 4?
7 to 4, yeah, yes.
Can we have a formal review after 1 year?
So,
A legal formal review after 1 year?
so part of this conditional use permit, one of the review options we have is bring it back for annual review. That is in this recommendation as well. So anything else from you, Mike? Draft?
Just, just about
It's on the,
the years of operation.
So the proposed draft has, it's proposed for a 3-year conditional use permit with the option to extend 2 additional years.
Yes, that's what I wanted to check.
That would come before this, whoever's on this town board at that time for review.
So are you reviewing once a year or once every 3 years?
This has an annual review. Okay, then, anything else, Mike, on that? Do you have anything else? Okay, then I'm gonna make a motion to approve the conditional use permit under the conditions, aforementioned with the amendment of the 7 AM to 4 PM timeline.
I will second that.
The motion,
So just a point of order, just to be clear, the motion is to approve the findings of fact, conclusion of law, and decision as presented, subject to the amendment on the hours. Is that your motion?
Louder, please.
my motion is to approve the facts and findings for this conditional use permit with the amended hours from 7 AM to 4 PM. That's my motion. Take a second. This does have an annual review.
I'll second that
Oh,
motion.
sorry, Mike seconded the first one. You want to? Okay. I'll make that motion. Mike has seconded it. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Just to close out that first part of the meeting, we have submitted a document entitled The Record. It currently has 21 items listed. In addition, there should be the legal citations submitted by Attorney Stadler. There's also a Town of Farmington conditional use permit application submitted by the applicant tonight. Those should be added to the record. So I would be looking